Question. It's a very good question. I think that's a question that to really get a good answer, a faculty member or a staff member, a faculty member or a student at UC Irvine would be in an ideal position to answer that.
Okay.
Because I don't teach at University of California, Irvine. I have essentially written the article as a concerned academic, but what I can mention is that there's a professor, for instance, who was quoted in an article that was, a local newspaper covered, Professor Catherine Liu. She has raised these concerns about links with Hindu nationalist organizations. And recently, there has been a petition that's been put online. And it's a petition that's been signed by a large number of academics in South Asia. But again, the driving force behind it is faculty members at UC Irvine itself. So I think they're taking the lead, and then South Asianists or scholars who work on South Asia or academics even more generally who are sort of concerned and troubled by the kinds of things I mentioned have essentially lent their support by signing that petition, by agreeing to sign that petition.
Okay.
But absolute, the minutiae of the negotiations, that is something, what conversations are going on between particular departments, staff members, student bodies, those are things that are happening at the level of the university.
Right.
And I think those are not happening in the public sphere, so to speak.
Right. Let's get back to your article, Rohit. You say something very interesting. You talk about how the intervention of the Hindu right in the academic field has fallen into two categories. A, absurd, and B, violent. Talk to me a little more about that, and perhaps give me some examples for these two categories.
Sure. So, and I'm talking about the global Hindu right here. And what do I mean about the global Hindu right? Of course, as I say in the article, it's not as if there is some kind of finely orchestrated conspiracy, taking place across the world. That said, there are links between, what is happening on the ground in India and what is happening in the US. The Hindu communities in the US, which are very affluent, many of them actually based in Silicon Valley, have long been a source of support for the projects of the Hindu right in India. So there are some, some sort of very, very strong similarities between what happens, and I think we can make some meaningful generalizations. So in terms of the absurdist, there's been this, so this is a sort of long and complicated history actually going back at the very least to the 19th century. Just yesterday, I think on a very well-known statistician, he's a cricketing statistician, but he shares facts about all interesting statistical facts on Twitter, Mohandas Menon. I think he mentioned that yesterday was the anniversary of the day that Macaulay introduced his famous Macaulay's Minute, which, said that the British would fund education in English and would, cease. Initially, the proposal was they would cease to sort of fund education.
Watch the remaining show on ITV Gold. Subscribe to ITV Gold on Time Warner Cable Channel 1539. ITV Gold is America's first full-time television channel that caters to the South Asian community. Your favorite dramas with English subtitles. Watch movies, back-to-back songs, award-winning local news coverage, and much, much more. Subscribe to ITV Gold on Time Warner Cable Channel 1539, part of the 8-channel combo pack for $39.95. And our East Coast viewers can also subscribe to ITV on RCN Channel 476 and Cablevision on Channel 116.